All right, Cyber Traders, welcome on back here this Wednesday afternoon, January 10th. Great to see Chuck, Grant, Michael, and all of our students live inside our live trading room, and especially all of us just joining us on YouTube, Facebook Live, etc., all of our social media streams and platforms alike at Cyber Trading U. Just give me a quick chat back. Let me know if you could hear me loud and clear there. Got to be good to go, not just for this meeting. Got to be good to go for class actually coming up ahead this afternoon, 3:05 Eastern Time, finishing up the Phase 3 course. I got the hot email from Fausto early this morning. I call it the hot tag, like wrestling. Get the hot tag. Got the hot email from Fausto this morning asking if I could teach the class this afternoon for him, and I'm always honored to have the chance to do that. And it's really just live trading. Just a lot of us here, most of us, in fact, I've worked with one-on-one and coaching, or currently am, and that's pretty much what we're doing, right? Really, it's just me on the microphone in the afternoon, just showing you my screen instead of Rich's. So, really showing you how the sauce is made, basically. And actually, speaking of which, make sure to follow Fausto on his home living channel with that in mind, right? Speaking of sauce. Now, with that there, Roma, also kind of speaking of sauce, because Villa Roma, pizzeria around me here. So Roma making a nice pop. I don't think it's Villa Roma, at least. Roma Green Finance Ltd, new IPO, I guess, just from yesterday, dropped off, and then now making a bounce back up. We don't really appreciate IPOs that much here unless if the float is pretty respectable. If it's like a stock that is a pretty well anticipated launch, an IPO that a lot of us are pretty much in the know on, a stock or company rather that just has a product like, they should be listed out there. So I don't know what this company does. I don't think that they were too heavily anticipated heading into the yesterday. Traded 4.6 million shares yesterday for an IPO. That's really not a whole lot. Today, trading even more, 15.8 million shares. So I like this move up. It's up 52% actually, technically, from yesterday's closing price. And, hey, for now, I'll put this on our watch list just to begin. Roma, don't mind if I do. Now, with that in mind, though, hey, for all of us inside our live trading room, just answer a quick question for me. There could be more than one answer, mind you, but what were the stocks that we were most heavily focused on heading into this very meeting? Because again, we got class lined up at 3:05. We got to make sure that we're moving quick. So, what were the stocks that we've been just watching and calling out really for the past hour and a half? You see it in the chat. So, kind of just want you to look back and answer that for me if you may. Of course, I'll take you there either way because Jeff, big fan of it, calling out the Mara stock. And of course, that being one of a few that we were actually just focused on recently. And, this was holding over a good support line that we had just, before 2670. It was previous resistance from really this past week and week and a half. And, tried doing its best holding as support, hit it the first time, perfect right here. I actually went to step out to run a quick errand. I came back and it was just kind of teetering right here. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. Well, came back down and it ended up holding twice again, but then the more times it nips and gnaws, it ended up breaking it. So drop down to the VWAP, drop down towards 26, big area of support for right now. I love Mara, but it's just so volatile. That's the reason I love it. And I mean that in actually a pretty complimentary light. There are stocks that are volatile and are untradeable on top that have like a crazy spread, very poor order book. This is not that stock. So, that's why you tend to see me put this on our watch lists a little bit more often than not of late. I'm sure that you could look at some of the other miners if you follow them, CLSK, Riot. They're all kind of making the same move, but Mara is the lead horse out of them, I believe. So, I'm going to add that to our watch list once again. But then on top of that, hey, what about the AMRN folks? We were just calling that out before. AMRN a moment ago, we were saying like it looked a bit flat, but Rich just posted the book map picture there in the main chat board for you. Just click that picture. You scroll up in the chat, see that he posted that picture. And not only is there an iceberg there, Rich, at 110 that he posted, but actually, zoom out a little bit more and more, you could even see another one. Yeah, look at this. 110 and then also at $1. This just showed up at prior to 2 p.m. That's the reason we had called it out. And, hey, listen, it's not really the fastest mover aside from the morning pop that we had here. It's been like watching the grass grow, but it's at the highs. It's up still big percentage wise. And, for that reason, I don't mind adding that to our watch list here for the afternoon. On top of that, it's also one that we're pretty familiar with. Mind you, this stock, we ended up trading back in 2018. I think it was mid 2018. I multitasked just a second ago there. I filled up my water bottle. How about that? I have my nice fancy water cooler here, just Good to go. Now, actually, let me go back a couple years because that was 2018 in which this ended up making that big gap up. I think a pharma stock, therapeutic stock, whatever news came out back then. We've been trading and calling out this stock really since. Been a little while since we've traded it because the more that any stock falls off lower and lower and lower in price, I mean, yeah, it gets cheap. We like cheap, but that doesn't mean it's going to be tradable and worth our time. So this thing really hasn't been worth a thing in a little while, really since the beginning of last year. In fact, made a pop and drop. So for now, I don't mind adding here AMRN. We're all familiar with this, at least here. Most of us are, at least are. And if you're not, well, at least from this morning, you were. And tradable, good spread, good order book. Again, we do appreciate the fact that it's inexpensive. All right. So, those were the two that we were really kind of more focused on just for a little bit there. Otherwise, we'll just go from top to bottom, see what else we could really grab here from our watch list. Oh, my time in sales is also very glitchy here. If you happen to see that, I may just have to give that the boot for this meeting. That just started happening. I don't know if you saw that, but let's go from top to bottom here, see what else we can grab. Sana, S-A-N-A. Now, this one was a great pop from this morning. Phenomenal move up. The issue, though, is that the order book was really thin. I mean, this was the type of stock that had a 5 to 10 cent spread at least there, and order book fluctuating in size. So it ended up making a really nice pop. It broke above resistance. Actually, if anything, there was a pretty good iceberg on the sell side at $8. So it broke over it, moved way above it, but then pulled back. It's been holding under it since. I guess you could say higher lows right here, but I just don't really feel it's going to make that next big leg up. And hey, if it proves me wrong during this meeting, then I'll definitely be keen to put it on our watch list there. SATS, SATS. This is not a Bitcoin stock, if you're asking. It is, I think. Let me double check here, in fact, because I know that Rich posted the news out on this company earlier today. So EchoStar's Dish Wireless subsidiary awarded a $50 million grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce. That's the headline out on this trade, at least there. But, another nice breakout, but this thing had an even more thin order book compared to the, last one there, the Sana. CMND, pass on that. Amarin, we for now have this on our watch list, but this is like watching the grass grow for now. So, the more it goes up, of course, you're feeling good, or if it's at least holding there, it's fine. Just don't get stuck watching that by itself. There's going to be other stocks moving out there. Lunar. Intuitive Machines ended up making a nice little pop just before, albeit pulled back down just a moment ago. It's still over the VWAP. It's got a decent order book. I don't mind giving this a shot here. ELEV. This thing's been on fire for a little bit now, for the last few days, even dating back to Monday this week. But really, yesterday we had called it out and made a good pop then. So once again today, this making a higher high up towards 250. It actually just broke over a little consolidation that it was heavy volume level around 240 here. So we'll see if this can keep going. Don't want to build up too big of a watch list, though, that's for sure. I mean, really, before I started this meeting, I was kind of going here and just noticed there wasn't really anything name brand or at least something familiar. We already have about 5 on there so far, so I like it. I just don't want to build up too big of a list, 10, 12, 13 stocks out there. That's like too much. All right, so I think in terms of just skimming through here, there's really not much else that really I can tell is a no name like we were saying. So if there is anything else that's looking good, folks, just type it in on the chat board here. Let me know. The last one I clicked on here before I was going to hop over to the losers list, Oscar Health. This one actually is a familiar name to me. I just wanted to look at it, but actually this is at the highs. So it's kind of hard to ignore this trade here, right? I mean, it's up 7%. It's at the HOD. Good order book for now. Just trying to break above consolidation of its own at 965 there too. Looks like also closing print back from Monday this week was 969, and it just popped it right now. So, all right, Oscar. See if this can keep going. Next resistance, I'd assume would be 10. I don't have Bookmap open for this trade right now, but I would just trust your whole number levels there. All right, what else do we have here? We'll hop over to the losers list. Market's been actually pushing up pretty nicely, so I don't have the SPY chart up on my 5-minute graph like I normally do. So actually, let me just show you this here really fast. So SPY at the HOD, it's been a very strong market today, almost like a Fausto flag this week in which the market broke out here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many stocks we're going to be able to find here on the losers list, but just got to do my job. Got to cross my T's, dot my I's. I mean, technically, DCGO. This thing is easy to borrow on TradeStation. You know what? I will know. It's below $5 from yesterday, so pretty interesting that it is easy to borrow right now. Looks like a relatively new IPO from last year, or from a few years ago rather, but breaking all-time lows. You know what? Interesting enough, if you could short this stock, then I'm going to put this on our watch list for you. So see what else we can grab out there for now. TGTX. Boyle. Yeah, now at this point, I don't really find like we're going to see too much more out here on the loser side. All right, so that's fine by me, folks. Hey, if there's anything else looking good, up, down, left, right, more than 5% that you'd want me to check out or just look at here really briefly, just let me know. Thomas in our chat board right now, UAL, we'll take a brief look there. Just, good airline. Tradable, good order book and whatnot. But, I mean, hey, it's a stock that may look to go with the market. There's probably a lot that looks like this. You know what I mean? So if you do well on the airlines, you do well on UAL in particular, as a day trade, it could be worth your time there. Beautiful rounded bottom, 44. But again, there's going to be a lot that probably looks somewhat like this, whether it's like right at the highs or near the highs. Shopify is just one, for example, that just kind of shooting from the hip there. But, that's one that we appreciate at times, breaking higher highs on the daily chart. Roku's not really having a great day. Roblox not really having a great day. Snapchat kind of at the highs, there's a lot that's going to look like that to a great degree. So unless if it's really up or down that 5% or more, we're not going to be as privy to it right away. And then, really at 3 o'clock, 3:15, when Rich is on the mic here, I'm going to be teaching class. Then at that point, he'll look to call something out if there's really nothing from this main watch list that we're going to pump out, is really moving. All right, so really the only one I didn't really have a chance to go over, I mean, just to look at it, pretty similar, but Ron was just mentioning from much earlier, but Apple, it's just one that he had on his list. And I'll tell you what, Apple popping up pretty damn nice right now. I mean, if anything, as far as like the larger cap stocks or ones that may go with the market, of course, it's a really good trend. Is this related to the CES event that's going on right now, the big tech event happening right now? I don't know. Let's just see. I'm just checking out news on Benzinga on my other monitor right now. I don't really see anything specific right now in relation to Apple. Keep going here really quick, really quick. Yeah, nothing really too specific. Nice push, though. We'll take it, Ron. If you're a fan of trading Apple or doing Apple call options, then that's one thing. But otherwise, I like the list that we got. I mean, obviously, Mara is the main stock featured on there, just the stock that we're all pretty familiar with. But we got a lot of stocks that look good, otherwise. Amarin, Oscar, Lunar, ELEV, Roma. Even on the way down, that DCGO is a potential short, breaking all-time lows. All right. Yeah. Well, Grant, I always love the chance to teach the Phase 3 class. Basically, you got me once a month now. I never like to say that officially. It's really just kind of based on Fausto's schedule. But, pretty much for the last year, pretty much every month, been doing one of those classes per month. And with that, looking forward to 3 p.m. Eastern here with all of our students, all of our gold, platinum, diamond, CTU students. You folks have access to the Phase 3 stock course. So I know that Rich will look to post the link here momentarily for you all. And then from there, he'll be on the mic at 3 o'clock for anyone else otherwise. All right, folks. So, hey, I want to make sure that everyone has enough time to make sure to click the link to get ready, get set up for class, much like myself. I'm actually going to join there in just a moment. I'm going to refill up on water once more, and then I'll be good to go for the Phase 3 course. And then otherwise, best of luck trading here heading into the market close for everybody. Take care.